This is very. Well, that's where I was going. Enough, I gotta look at myself. Oh, boy. Destiny.
Call the work session of the Isabella County Board of Commissioners to order. Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Embry,
Present.
Commissioner Jazinski, Commissioner Engler, Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Swaney,
Present.
Here.
all present, Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Up next will be approval of the agenda. We will start out with general public comments. And then we'll have a presentation by our Parks Director, Sue Ann Kopmeyer. And then we have several appointments to boards and commissions that we'll kind of work through. And that will bring us down to committee reports, Finance and Administration Committee.
Finance Administration Committee is all set, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee.
Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee is all set, Mr. Chairman.
Human Resources and Public Works Committee.
Sources and Public Works Committee is all set, Mr. Chairman.
We have no intergovernmental affairs, no administrative controller issues, no unfinished business, no new business. We'll have an opportunity at the end of the meeting, again, for general public comments and then announcements and then adjournment. So with that, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved, Marino.
Support. Been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have an agenda. And as promised, first up is general public comments. Is there anyone for general public comment?
This is
She was already on. Seeing no one for general public comment, Sue Ann, now you, if you still want to do it, now you can. Thanks.
This is July here. Would that go away, Michelle? This. Oh, I just see a black thing here. That's fine. It's asked me to join something here.
Don't click it.
Good afternoon. Hi, everybody. I wanted to do this presentation because unfortunately, after our ribbon cutting, which was a terrible day, it was a wonderful day, but terrible weather day, is we were never able to do a site visit. And I wanted to show, I know two commissioners have already seen this show. I brightened it up a little bit, so I switched it around a little bit. But anyways, it's just pictures of our before and after of the photos from our Deerfield and Majeske Landing erosion and landing improvements out at Deerfield Park in Majeske, as I just said. So it's a quick little presentation, but since we couldn't do I know I tried with the chairman to try to do a weekend. It was close to Thanksgiving or Christmas. I can't even remember, but it just didn't happen. So I do apologize, but I know this was a long time coming and we're very happy with the results that we have in here. So let's see if I can just show it. This is one addition to I wanted to give everybody an idea of the Chippewa River, and at your place where you guys are sitting is a map of the Chippewa River. It's a big thing right now that we are trying to promote the Chippewa River, not only for recreational purposes, but also for environmental. And this is part of the map that you guys have at your area. And I brought extra maps for people. But it shows you from Barrington over to Midland. We've done this, a cooperative doing this map, and it just gives you an idea where I know it's a little bit small, but it shows you where the public landings are, and also like public restrooms. Oh, and this is just the section from Lake Isabella for the river is, and then goes up into Mount Pleasant. Just to show you again, for your county parks, we have quite a presence. Sites number 2, 3 are that's 2 is Gilmore or Majeske Landing. 3 is Deerfield, which I'm going to talk mainly about. Deerfield has 4 landings in there. And then we have the Meridian Park is number 4. And then 5, 6, and 7 are where people can get in and out in Mount Pleasant. So it just gives you an idea. That was something I didn't provide at our Parks Board meeting, but for people just not familiar with where the Chippewa River runs, where the river runs through it, it's those sites 2 and 3 is what I am going to be showing pictures of very quickly, by the way. So this is the Deerfield Trailhead launch. This is the before picture. Obviously, you can read this. Not in very good condition, not very accessible. And so we wanted to improve this you can see it's very sandy, not well accessible for somebody that might be a little uneasy with walking down this hill. And we do have an interpretive sign down there, but it just, we did not stage this. This was what it looked like for years. And here's the new launch that was now ADA accessible according to outdoor standards. And so you can launch your canoe, kayak, tubing down this area, and it meets those qualifications of being better handicap accessible. Here's a little bit closer look. We put limestone on either side. And I failed to mention, this was the project was done by Miller Construction out of Wademan, and the engineering on this was Spicer. And we were very happy with the look of the project. Mr. Miller is Ron Miller, who was in charge of this, overseeing this project. I mean, their company did just an outstanding job for us. We were very happy with this. So when you go into the park, this is when you go to the left by the swinging bridge. That's what's on the upper left here. We just had people, this is a very telling story here. This is just, this ridge that was just worn out is just by people just walking in and out of the river over the years. And it turned into a little path to then a bigger one. And this is where the new launch is going to go. They naturally made it where we were going to use the launch. But this, as you see on the right-hand side, that's a high bank now. I mean, so that needed to be repaired as well. Again, it's a very popular area. It's very shallow in here. So people like to use the water or just, play in the water, do their thing. And then also launch mainly it was for launching the tubes. The people in the tubes did not like being at the other landing because it gets a little mucky over there. So this is the before picture and here is the after.
Oh, yeah.
So again, it's just, as you can see, the sediment is not going to go into the water, which is very important for the just the whole ecosystem of the river. You just don't want a bunch of sediment going into the river. And obviously this limestone is is the condition. We have geotextiles that are preventing them from flowing into the river, and definitely will be there beyond my lifetime. I know that for. There's just another angle looking at the swinging bridge, and it's just, people are going to be very happy with it. Okay, and this is Deerfield Memorial Forest. I did mention that there's 4. We didn't do anything to the campground. There is a launch there for people to, when they go camping. There's some stairs there to bring your boat up, but we did nothing in there. So I don't want to be confusing. I'm only showing you 3. But Deerfield Memorial Forest on the south side of the park. This is our staff built these, wooden fixtures to kind of hold in the gravel that we have to replace each year. Wasn't quite doing the trick. Here's a little bit up close up. And there's the new, this is, I will tell you this, I'm going to tell you what my opinion is. This is like the most beautiful part of the park here. If you ever want to go, just take park your car back on Wynn Road and hike in. It's a very beautiful spot. The way the river comes around the bend, and it's just really going to be, it's never looked this good. So, and they just had seeded this. It's now pretty green. And then here's a view from over here. And we're to the right of the limestone. There's a sign there. We now have some folks had put a memorial bench there, and it's really one of the best spots that we have for the bench. And it's for their grandson that passed away. So they were very excited when this was all happening, when they came and asked me what would be a good site for his bench. And then we're at Majeske, which is the last one. I'm almost done. Majeske is over by Hubster's Pit. It's very popular where people like to go in and then go to the right to go fishing, like upstream. So we needed something that was just a little bit more. We didn't have to do a lot for the accessibility. I mean, there's not a large slope, but we did need to, put again the limestone in there so we don't lose a lot of the embankment. So that's where people just do a little round, back up, drop their boat off, and then park kind of behind me. And here's the finished product of that. So this was the first one that was built. And so they did, the grass is very green during the time when we took these pictures. So this is also a very shallow area too. People I know when they swim here and just or cool off a little bit. And some people cool their horses out there. Some people have horses and it's a very shallow area in the summertime, not in the spring. And that's the last photo of Majeske Landing, the limestone. We didn't do a lot of surfacing, like I said, into the landing itself, but it's going to be there for a long time. So with that, thank you. This is just 2 people that it's been my favorite picture long time, and it's a father and son who got done, and the father's waiting for his wife to pick him up, and they spent the afternoon on the river. So anyways, I just wanted to thank you, and there's the project. So it's not as good as visiting the site, but there you go. So thank you very much.
I just wanted to say, ever since I've been on the board, I got to work on I had the pleasure to work on the Parks and Recreation Committee. And I just want to say thanks to Sue Ann for all the valuable effort that you do. And
Yeah, well, thanks. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure servicing you too. So I won't take up more time. No more clapping. No.
Sue Ann, thank you. And I'd have to agree that Memorial Forest is the prettiest part of it. Deerfield Park is gorgeous,
Oh, it is,
but that
yes.
Memorial Forest area is
Yeah.
amazing. And I floated one summer day. I went from Majeske Landing all the way to Chippewater's.
Wow.
And parts of that river are just wild and beautiful, and it's amazing. Quite a trip.
I
It's a
hear
little
that-
shallow in spots. but-
Yeah, it depends on the time.
Yep. Yes.
Just real quick, at our meeting the other day, we did discuss there could be some confusion on the river this year because they're going to do a bridge project on Vandecar, isn't it? Vandecar Bridge. So parts of the trails will be cut off because they'll be doing construction on there. So there could be kind of a little bit of confusion. We haven't got a date. There wasn't a start date on there yet. So
Website, like, because we did that before when they were on
Meridian,
Meridian Road or Lincoln.
Lincoln project last year.
Meridian too. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
They did
Both
both of
those
them.
times. We just let people know how, because it's a long area that you'd have to portage around. So. But anyways, yeah, we just found that out. So. But anyways, so.
Just the board wants to thank you for your 23 years of service as Parks and Recreation Director and hope you enjoy your retirement. And maybe when I'm out on the river, I'll see you laying back in a canoe and relaxing.
That'll be great, for sure. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Up next is appointments to boards and commissions. And we'll kind of walk through these. I'll hold my comments until after everyone else. If anybody wants to comment on any of these folks, please jump in. But the first one, item A, is consider appointing 2 members to Isabella County Board of Public Works to complete 3-year terms ending December 31st, 2025, or until a successor is appointed. So, Commissioner Jazinski.
Yeah, I don't know either one of these gentlemen, but I do know that Robert Laroy, I think it's Laroy, is a consumer of the Board of Public Works water system out at Lake Isabella. And I think that's always a good thing to have somebody that is directly involved with the product.
Sweeney.
There we go. Just want to comment at John Hayes. Related to Matt Mertz, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Some of you, Matt Mertz, who has been on many of the boards over the years, and he was the last board that he was on before he passed away was the Transportation Board. John Hayes has inherited Matt Mertz's home and has moved a few years ago there from Chicago, and is very interested in getting involved in boards with Isabella County, like to kind of pay homage and the effort to his I'm not sure, the father-in-law. Thank you. I know he's on up for a couple boards here. Might think about Public Works, as I think the other board is the Transportation Committee, and I know we have an incumbent on that one where we usually stick with an incumbent, so something to consider.
Yep. Anyone else? Yeah, I was gonna support Robert Laraway on this. And I looked up on the website, the Board of Public Works, their tagline or whatever it is, says the Board of Public Works was established by Act 185 of 1957 as amended to acquire, improve, enlarge, extend, and operate a water supply, sewage, refuse disposal system, erosion system, and make lake improvements. And Mr. Laraway is a resident at Lake Isabella and is also serving as President Pro Tem on the Village of Lake Isabella Village Council. Anything else on that appointment? Okay, moving on. Item B is consider appointing 1 member to the Isabella County Commission on Aging Advisory Board as an at-large representative to complete a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2025, or until a successor is appointed. And we have applicants Kristen Lalonde and Jessica Lapp. Commissioner Swain.
I know both of them and I know both of them would serve well on that position. I do know Jessica Lapp has some elder parents that she'd been taking care of the last couple of years that kept her away from serving on boards and commissions like she's done in the past. And so she might be a good choice since Kristen Lalonde is the incumbent for transportation. However, it's amazing this time around that we've got so many people for single positions.
It is. It's a good problem to have. Commissioner Engler.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if this is time to bring this up right now, but I was talking to John Dinsey. And he's on the board and apparently they have regions on the Commission on Aging. And so I'm not sure, he was kind of wondering if that was something they could look into or change, but it's just harder. I mean, you got two good candidates in here, but he was asking me the question and I did not have a good answer for him. So I was just questioning. I can understand maybe they want to have a diverse, maybe they get around the area, but says sometimes it's very hard to get somebody, I guess, apparently they're tied to commissioners regions, so.
That's a good point. Jessica Lapp is Region 4. I've been trying for a couple of years to get someone from Region 7 on that board, and I've mentioned it to the Southwest Neighborhood Association. They put the word out, haven't found anyone to come forward for that seat. I don't know if there's other vacancies on that board.
Maybe we
Yeah,
could even.
Regions. There are.
They're having trouble getting it because of the regional deal. I don't know if that's something we can look into for our.
I think the
planning session
answer
or
lies
something.
in the bylaws, right? I mean, I'm sure that's how the setup is. And I would think that this board approved those bylaws. So you can absolutely take a look at editing those bylaws if you think there's.
I can kind of understand
better
because you want
operation.
to have, all the territories, not all the people in choice, but if you're having vacancies because you can't get people, you got people that wants to serve, but maybe it could be a recommendation that you could try to take them from different districts, but maybe not
A question.
Well, yeah,
What board are we referring to here? A region?
Commission on Aging.
Oh, okay.
Maybe if we look at the bylaws and we say some more general term like 5 of the 7 districts must be covered by.
Or maybe just have, you can't have more than 2 members from one
Yeah.
district.
so I reread
that would
this. I see this as actually an at-large
Right.
position. So there's region positions as well as at-large.
Right.
I think it may have to do with the way when it was set up, maybe, and the millage campaign back when that was going forward, maybe there was some, there's good sense to having it split up that way, but operationally, if it doesn't make sense anymore, then let's go improving.
Certainly look at. Yeah.
Just wanted to bring that up because it was a concern because he's been on the board for a long time.
Yes, appreciate that.
I did. Just to add, I know the District 3, my district, they've been looking for somebody to represent that district for a long, long time. And I mentioned that. I couldn't find any interest yet. But I will say Jessica Lapp did serve as a former member of the Commission on Aging, and I think that sounds good too.
That's what I was going to add as well. You beat me to it, but Jessica Lapp was on that board and she took some time off to care for her own elderly parents. So yeah, I'm sure she'll be a good fit on there. Anybody else? Okay, then we'll move on to item C. Will be consider appointing one member to the Isabella County Construction Board of Appeals as a building trade representative to complete a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2024, or until a successor is appointed. Applicants Gerald Konwinski and Eric Volmar. Commissioner Engler?
Yeah, we got 2 really good candidates here. Between the 2 of them, there's 73 years of experience in the business. So whatever you do, I've known Eric forever because he lives across the road from me. So, so I just wanted to bring that up. But you have both very good candidates. They've both been in the business for over 30 years, so they have such quality candidates wanting to apply for this. It's great.
Anything else? Okay. Item D, consider appointing one member to the Isabella County Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors to complete a 6-year term ending July 1st, 2028, or until a successor is appointed. And this one will be a little easier because we only have one applicant, Donald Schur. Not to say that Mr. Schur is not extremely qualified. And I'm looking for his application here because I know, oh. So. Was Gratiot County, what do they call it down there in Gratiot? Thank you. He was CEO of that. Yep. Yeah, so.
Akin to James McBride.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for better qualifications than that, I think. President, Greater Gratiot Development Incorporated, 1984 through September 2017. And it says retired, although I see he's still on numerous boards. All over the place. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Maybe some clarification. Isabella County Economic Development Corporation doesn't meet on a regular schedule, right? So it's a very sporadic. And I know I've been assigned to that. I don't think I've ever gone to a meeting.
Correct. I think it's been somewhat inactive in years past, only called as needed.
We certainly have good candidate for an inactive board.
It's a start.
Maybe that'll spur some
Come on.
action on
Yeah.
that board. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, then item E is consider appointing one member to the Isabella County Transportation Commission to complete a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2025, or until a successor is appointed. Applicants Aaron Bennett, John Hayes, and Kristen Lalonde. Anybody have any comments on any of those folks? Not, I'll just say that I've known Kristen Lalonde for quite some time, and she is the incumbent on that for that position. I know that she will work hard and do a good job on there. Moving on to item F, consider appointing one member to the Isabella County Parks and Recreation Commission to complete a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2025, or until a successor is appointed. Applicants Ruth Barrett, John Hayes, and Kristen Lalonde. Anyone have any comments? Commissioner Marino.
I've known Ruth for a very long time. I know she was employed at CMU for a long time, and also that she was a township official in her township. I know she would do a really good job in this position.
Commissioner Jazinski.
Yep, I know Ruth as a township official from Fremont Township, a former township in my district. But I did work with Ruth in putting together this new playground for the Milford Memorial Park, otherwise known as the Wynn Community Center. So I know she has her heart into parks and recreation.
Okay.
Yep, I've known Ruth for a long time. She's currently a Fremont Township trustee and is on the Chippewa River District Library. In another life prior to this, I was a union president for a long time. Ruth was the vice president. She also served as treasurer and also served as chief steward. So I've worked pretty closely with her for a long time, and I know she has a really good work ethic. So I think we'll be great on that board. And moving on to item G, consider appointing one member to the Isabella County Planning Commission to complete a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2024, or until a successor is appointed. Applicants are Lisa Hoisington and Tim Wolf. Any Commissioner Swaney?
Lisa Hoisington, I know is so I'm sure everyone read the resumes, but a 30-year employee in community development and inspections here for Isabella County, just retired and wants to continue serving through volunteering on this planning commission board. Also, as further, putting her star, her references are Tim Nieport and Ray Johnson on the planning commission, and Lori Mueller from the office manager. So,
Mr. Embry.
Mr. Chairman, I spoke earlier today with village manager Tim Wolf of the village of Lake Isabella. He too has a lot of educational background and a lot of experience with Lake Isabella planning and zoning. He led me to believe he was very interested in pursuing the planning commission. If not now, he'll continue to apply. He said he's that vested in this.
Great.
So good guy.
Mr. Jazinski.
Yeah, I recently attended a Village of Shepherd meeting, and I know that the village is going to hire Tim Wolf as their planning and zoning administrator. I think that was used to be a contractual position with the community development. So I think they're both highly qualified individuals. So I wish we had two positions open.
Of course.
I didn't know if there'd be any conflict of interest in terms of Tim's involvement with the village, and probably not, but just came across my mind.
Commissioner Embry, I was glad to hear you say that Mr. Wolf would continue to apply if he's not appointed tonight. See what happens. Another case where we have two very, very qualified applicants. I would love to see Tim Wolf on the planning commission. We've done it before, I think. According to, maybe not. But I think Lisa Hoisington, having 30+ years in the community development department. I don't know how you get much more experience in that. So. All right, we'll go through those again this evening. And for now, we'll move on to committee reports. Finance and Administration Committee.
First item of business is consider ratifying and placing on file the February 17th, 2023 invoice list in the amount of $3,183,139.65. The February 24th, 2023 invoice list in the amount of $586,479.56. And the adjustment list dated March 2nd, 2023. Going to the February 17th list. And again, these lists come out to each one of the commissioners via email. So we have a chance to look at it and ask any questions, and then it goes to committee. So these have been before committee. And then of course to come to the work session before adoption at the nightly meeting. But on that February 17th, most of the big ticket items are the fourth quarter winter tax distribution from the treasurer's office to the community colleges and intermediate school districts. That's where the big dogs are in that list. The rest of them are there's drain projects. And then we have the customary consumers energy and payment for annual contract fees for various software packages. Any questions on the February 17th list?
I noticed there's just a lot of restitution payments going out on this one, which obviously add up to reducing the tax payrolls. And is that, I've seen them before, but I've not seen so many all at one time.
I think these are court ordered payments from like people who have been to court the judge says you have to pay for damages to so-and-so clerk's office as circuit court clerk has to process all those restitutions. They have to
Oh,
run through the county because you wouldn't pay
Court-
them directly. Court ordered, it's got to run through the county. Yep.
but, okay,
Great question.
they're all through there. And, you know,
There's a lot
Hey.
going on, isn't there?
the hockey team. Yeah, a lot of going on.
Going on there. Mhm.
And we do take a look down into the body of the letter, because of course, the list itself is only $5,000 or greater. But it's
Mhm.
always interesting to look to see what the other payments are coming out of the county. All right, if there aren't any other questions on the February 17th, we'll move to the February 24th list. This list is, again, it's one that we have a jail construction project, $429,755.38, made out to Clark Construction. I'm not sure we have 2 bricks lined up yet, but the payments are going out for the construction of our new facility. And the only one that I noticed here, and I don't even want to ask about it, is this Soft Technology Corporation for a UFED, Universal Fornesthetics extraction device. I don't want to know what that extraction device is, but I wonder. But those are just 2 kind of outstanding that we don't see on a regular basis. But then we have the drain and food and other types of thing. Oh, that reimbursement for the canceled 2019 sale to Annette Vargo and Daniel Fay. There was a situation that was discovered by the treasurer's office after the property sold. And so because it couldn't be resolved, the reimbursement was made to the owners until such time as it go back on the market.
I can address the UFED a little bit from my memory with the sheriff. That is a software that extracts from phones, forensic software to extract them.
That makes me feel a whole lot better.
There you go.
Any other questions or
On the USB port.
explanations on the February 24th list? All right, then moving on to the adjustment list. Well, there it is. This one's pretty clear cut, the usual early payments for discounts or to avoid late fees, every one of them. Gordon Foods, DT Energy, City of Mount Pleasant Water Department. So I don't think there's anything unusual in this list. Questions about any of the lists or the adjustments? Then we'll move this to tonight's meeting.
Item 2, we have here to consider approving the proposal from Professional Services Industry, Inc. for material testing and observation services for the Isabella County Sheriff's Office and Correctional Facility Project in the amount of $75,470 and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Well, if you want some good reading material to put you to sleep, I'm telling you right now, it took me several times to get through this. I was, but it's very thorough in all the testing for everything from the concrete to the asphalt to the cabinets to the plastics. Wow, I didn't realize that we are that stringent in our requirements for the building project. I was impressed. So it's going to be a quality project.
Yes.
And I also like the fact that Clark Construction will be calling them in at the appropriate time, so there's no delays. They'll be giving them advance notice and bring them in to get these items tested so that they can move forward quickly and efficiently. So I like that too.
You got a question?
Commissioner. It's a large amount on there, but I was on a project, a corporate office in the second floor. They poured the concrete and it did not pass. We had quality control and they tried to talk and all, it'll be all right, but they ended up having to tear the whole second floor out, redoing it because it did not pass, but they really wanted it to say it was going to be all right, but it did not meet standards. So we were just about ready to go to court on it and they finally went in and tore it all off, set the project back ways, but yeah, it's nice to have that. It's very important. So.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, when you have a $48 million project, you want to make sure that everything is done right. And notice not only the things you listed up, but even soil. Soil is just not dirt. Probably Frank could talk to that also, but so it's money well spent to get a project that's going to be done right when we take over the key for that facility.
No, I didn't have anything. Okay.
Yeah, I'd just add that, I'm sorry.
No, you-
The bid for that actually came in a little under what was budgeted, so that's always a plus as well.
That's what I was gonna add as well, and the fact that the contract has to be with the county and the testing company, it would be a conflict of interest if it was between Clark and the testing company. It'd be like testing themselves, kind of, right? And so that's why this one's unique, that the county holds the contract with PSI. And
Any other-
Heidi Kendall from Clark Construction is on the Zoom again today. She was at committee last week. So if we have any questions for her, please recognize the fact that she's joined us. Thank you, Heidi.
Yep, good afternoon, everybody.
Our attorney did have some changes to that contract, which you'll see PSI has made and initialed and agreed to in the agreement that's attached to your agenda now.
That's current.
It is.
Today. Okay,
Yes.
very good. Any other questions for this item? If there are none, then we'll move this item to tonight's regular business session.
Thank you.
All right, our next and final item is consider approving the utility easement between Isabella County and Union Township for water and sanitary sewer lines serving the Isabella County Sheriff's Office and Correctional Facility Project, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. This is an easement that will put that utility line squarely into our property. And I did have a question at committee, why it wasn't put in the road right away, and got a very good answer. One is that there's already facilities there, which would be very difficult and expensive to disrupt to put in additional facilities. And one is, I think the drain commission line, the county drain. And so this just continues on the easement, be easy to connected to it. And I think also having it in our own property kind of protects it from any inadvertent damage for any kind of future road project or something that's being done with the existing utilities in that road right away. Questions?
Just a comment, but I'll add that, and you kind of touched on this, but I'll add that there was already a consumer's power easement right there for the guy anchor and wire and pole easement. And this will just run right along with that, right next to it. We knew that easement was there when we bought the property, so that consumer's easement.
All right, we'll move this on to tonight's meeting. And Mr. Chairman, that completes the work of the Finance Administration Committee.
Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, Heidi. We didn't have any questions for you, but thanks for being here.
Sure, you're welcome. Have a good afternoon.
So up next would be Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have one item, and that's consider approving the return of $5,728 to the Region 6 allocation to meet the Homeland Security Grant and Priority Area Project requirements, and authorize the board chair to sign the letter to Miss Richmond. We've seen this one before.
You see Miss Helen Lee is here,
Okay.
Emergency Management Coordinator. You may want to call her to the table.
Yeah,
This will be her first.
please.
Board meeting, so she's a little new at this.
It's not fair. We usually get to pick on Mark, so
I think she'll give it to him. If you want to pick on her, I think she'll just. relay that on.
this is a project we've seen before. Basically, it's a Homeland Security grant. They have been reduced a little bit, so they'll probably go away. So what happens is we get back to the region, Isabella County's estimated part of this would be $21,417. So that's with the 5,000 taken out. So that's estimated it out. So basically it's part of the project, and that gives us the right to vote on the total project. So if you'd like to explain it a little better than I have, you're more than welcome, and then we'll take any questions.
Thank you, County Chair and Chairperson. And so the locals under this Homeland Security Grant and the project priorities, the local jurisdictions get a certain amount of money. And then there's a reallocation process. So a certain percentage would go back into the region overall, so that those NPAs, which is the national priority areas, have a sum of money that we still get a vote on as a local county. And but it hits those national priority areas with that percentage. So our percentage being $5,700, $5,728 that would go back to the region. So yeah, but the pot, I think from 2021 to 2022 was around a $1,200 difference. A little bit of a reduction, but yeah, like Commissioner Engler said, those monies are getting smaller year after year, but.
And even though the amount is not nearly what we need, but we will take what we can get. So the need is greater than what the grants, but we, striving to get as much as we can. So. Yes, Commissioner Jarrett says.
So the returning of the funds, does that support the administration of the regional organization, or does it go for specific projects that benefit the whole region? And if that's the case, what kind of projects would be supported?
Go back to the region to go towards those specific priorities. So the list would include law enforcement is focused on that list, but you've got enhancing cybersecurity, voting, enhancing protection of soft targets, enhancing information and intelligence sharing, cooperation with federal agencies, including DHS, election security, combating domestic violent extremists, and community preparedness and resilience. Those are the 2022 national priority areas.
The good and worthy projects. Thank you.
There any more questions? Seeing none, we'll move this forward to the business session tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, that completes the work of the Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee.
Commissioners, Human Resources and Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our first item is consider approving the inspection service agreement between Summit Fire Protection and Isabella County Trial Court effective March 1st, 2023 until February 28th, 2026, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. So this is kind of a complex one. Tim Neoport, the Community Development Director of, sorry, Steve Schumacher. Thank you. Has a background on this, right?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi.
As you can see from the background that our past provider of monitoring, we could come to agreements on some contract language. So I went back out, contacted a few other providers. Summit Protection, Fire Protection offered us the best option for the money. And they do monitor this building and the public defenders currently anyways. You can see in the financial impact of the $60 a month charge, there will be a one-time cost of $725 for the cellular dialer. Right now, we operate on an analog system, which requires 2 phone lines. So by going to the cellular, which is much more efficient, the analog system is kind of getting outdated and antiquated, where they're switching to a cellular because it's more response, quicker time. We were spending $40 a month for the analog monitoring plus $70 for the 2 phone lines. And now we'll be spending $60. So, I mean, we're going to save $50 a month. We'll get a better service out of it. I think it'd be a good deal.
Any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, we'll put this on this afternoon's regular session. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, our second item, Consider approving the letter of agreement dated February 23rd, 2023 for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing plan review services from David S. Boersma of the Spicer Group and authorize board chair to sign the same.
Good afternoon, commissioners. This is a request for to sign a letter of agreement. These professional services that we're seeking have went through the procurement policy under professional services, policy 410. What we're looking at is this is the plan review. This is the process prior to the inspection service process for all large projects. So the jail project is a very large project for our office, for our review. We do have a new electrical inspector in the office, and none of the inspectors in our office have ever done inspections or plan reviews on a facility with this type of or of this size, of this type of structure, where we're intermixing some of the fire protection safety with some of the cell door openings and those types of things. So there's a little bit more complexity to this project. So what we're asking to do is go out for these services rather than do them in-house. We did seek both service agreements from McKenna and Associates as well as Spicer Group. We have worked with the Spicer Group in the past on one other project for plan review services, and that was one of our first grow facilities for marijuana. Because of the new legislation there and the new needs for those types of facilities, grow facilities. We hadn't had the experience, and we had done that in that project as well. Spicer Group did well for us, so they have a letter of agreement that they have submitted, and we're just looking for signature so we can move forward on that plan review process for plumbing, mechanical, electrical for the jail project.
We're just thinking it's a wise thing to do to. Thank you, Tim. Any other
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
I just have a
Go
comment.
ahead.
It's really nice to see these tangible steps, however big or small they are, in line to getting this project finally going after all these years. That concludes the work of the Human Resources and Public Works Committee. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, gentlemen. We have no intergovernmental affairs this evening, no administrator controller issues, no unfinished business, no new business. Brings us down to general public comment. Is there anyone for general public comment?
Commissioners and everyone else there. I just came forward when I saw Tim Wolf's name. I live out that way in Lake Isabella. I've known him for probably 10 plus years. And I just wanted to say he's always been very professional in the village manager position. He's always prepared. He's always researched his material, and he uses visuals, whatever it takes for the council to see what he's talking about, what they need to do, and what they need to make good, sound decisions. So when I've had I have some property out there, and that's how I've had that kind of interaction with Mr. Wolf. And if I've had questions, he's always been available to me and all that. So I don't think you can go wrong. I know Mr. Sweeney said the other lady is very well qualified, but when I saw his name, I thought I could at least, put this in for you guys to consider. So I hope my support doesn't diminish his possibility for being.
Not at all, sir. Thank you. What else for general public comment? Do we have anyone online? Yeah. And seeing no one else come forward, thank you, sir. We'll move on to announcements. Commissioners, any announcements? Commissioner Engler.
Still not too late to order your trees yet. Surprisingly, because of the weather, some of the pines are really expensive, hard to get. So some of them are switching to spruce, but either the stock wasn't good or not, but so some of them you will not be able to get, so. So anyway, so just a reminder, you can still order yet. They haven't started pulling the trees yet, so we usually order right up until a week before they start pulling, so. Isabella Conservation District.
Any other Commissioner Hutchinson?
Yes, I invite everybody to our little dinner in between the work session and tonight's meeting. I anticipated that we'd be closer to 6. I might have to move that up a little, but we've got pizza, salads, whatever you want coming in, and anybody that's in the room is invited.
Thank you. Any other announcements? And seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Jelazinski.
We are adjourned at 4:55.